AS Biology. Welcome. Are you excited for a fun learning session? Make sure you have your book and a pen before we start. Today you are going to learn about prokaryotic cells. Prokaryotic cells and viruses. Bacteria are prokaryotic cells. Prokaryotic cells are cells that do not have nuclei or chromosomes. Instead, bacteria have their chromosomal DNA in a loop in the cytoplasm. This loop controls the cell. Bacteria also have DNA in small loops called plasmids. Plasmids control a few of the cell activities. The bacterial organelles are plasma membrane, made of lipids and proteins. Ribosomes make proteins, smaller than those in a eukaryotic cell. Cytoplasm, jelly-like substance where the chemical reactions take place. Flagellum, long tail structure that helps the cell move. Not all prokaryotic cells have one. Cell wall, made from a glycoprotein called moraine. A glycoprotein is a protein that has an attached carbohydrate. The cell wall supports and protects the cell. Free-floating DNA, prokaryotic cells have no nucleus. The DNA is circular and exists as a coil strand in the cytoplasm. Plasmids, small, extra circle of DNA. These plasmids CNA be passed from one prokaryotic cell to another. They are not present in all prokaryotic cells. Capsule, slime coat for protection. Prokaryotic cells do not divide in the same way as eukaryotic cells but instead use a process called binary fission. Binary fission creates two daughter cells. The circular DNA and any plasmids in the bacteria replicate. The circular DNA will only replicate once, but the plasmids may replicate multiple times. The cell enlarges and the replicated DNA loops move to opposite sides of the cell. The cell begins to split, the cytoplasm divides and the cell wall begins to grow around the two halves. The cell divides into two daughter cells. Both cells have a copy of the circular DNA, but the plasmids may not have divided equally. One daughter cell could have 2 and the other 10, or one could have none while the other takes them all. Viruses are not alive and so they are not cells at all, they are acellular. A virus is made from nucleic acids and protein. Viruses are very small, they are smaller than both prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells. Viruses are not able to reproduce themselves. To reproduce, they must infect a host cell. This is the cell of another living organism. Some virus can only infect one type of cell due to the shape of their spike proteins. Some can infect many different types of cells.